external and internal frame of reference or locus of control. This is again, sometimes when you have a mindset about a certain topic or a certain job, then it's better to have an external reference of focus. For example, in marketing, you really have to know how people think. What are their motivations to buy? What are their pains and desire and hidden emotion that they don't know? That you have when you create a marketing plan, a business plan, then you should have an external frame of reference, not what you would like to sell to, let's say if you are a tutor, a teacher, a professor, not what you want to talk about or what you think people should know, or in marketing what they should buy, but what do they really do and what do they really want. So in this case, internal frame of reference would not be very useful. But in other situations, it's much better if you have your own goals, your own values, and let's say your friends want you to do something that is against your own values. Let's say go to drink and you don't want to drink, or offer smoking or drugs or anything. It's much better if you have an internal frame of reference, if you know what is good for you and not other people, and then you say no. Okay, another mindset is about boundaries. So sometimes when we talk about mindset, I use kind of opposite to contrast. So let's say there are two mindsets, and which one is better generally, or in a particular situation, which one is better. But sometimes there is just one mindset, and in this case we can say that that mindset is better than not having that mindset. So maybe you are not aware of something, but if you become more aware, and for example, having a healthy personal boundary. Okay, so a mindset is that you are aware that how you relate to people. So very briefly, a personality boundary, at least it means that you can say no to people, but if you want, you can say yes. And also you can accept hearing no from people, that you accept their boundaries. So in this case, the mindset is about becoming aware of something. Because if you just you live your life and you are not really thinking about your strong goals and values, then, and if you don't have this concept of personal boundaries, then you will be not able to easily say no when you really want to say no, and then people can just go and grab everything, your time, your money, or in Hong Kong it's very common that friends, old classmates come to you and want to borrow money, and a lot of people give money, but of course they never get it back. So they just use this because they don't have strong boundaries. They have a desire to help other people, or they don't want to say no because they are too weak, or they worry that they ruin the relationship. And in this case, if they have a very strong boundaries and very clear that, for example, me, that I don't lend money. And many times if somebody approaches me, they want to borrow money from me, depending on the length of the relationship, it can be a reason to break up the relationship and avoid this person forever. Because I have very strong values about this. If somebody comes to borrow money, this is the mindset. It means that, this person, let's say 30, 40, 50 years old, didn't accumulate enough money. One is that I don't believe this, and I would assume that they just want to use me. So this is the mindset. Maybe it has some disadvantages, but my experience is much better not to get involved. Say one time, no, I don't want to give. If the person is pushing the topic, get rid of this person. Because if somebody doesn't have money, that person is probably not really successful and doesn't care, didn't spend time to save money, didn't think about the future, so probably there will be no any way that this person can give back the money, and probably if he's using other people's money, then it's not to have this kind of person. So personality boundary, this mindset means that protect yourself with a wall, but not totally close, because then you close yourself, but have a kind of a window or a door that you can open, and then you let people come in, which means you can accept their suggestion, what they want, but you can shut the window, shut the door, and then in this case you say no and reject the person. So in this case you have the power of decision making to be able to say no and follow your own personal interest. Of course you incorporating that how much you value this relationship. You think about the probability, but what happens if I say no, how important this person to me, and understand. So you look at everything, all the aspects, but also you look at your personality boundaries, and you don't let other people exploit you, your kindness. This is very, very bad. Okay. Another mindset is the concept. Sometimes mindset are concepts. So use a concept, and you were not aware of this, but you can use this, so you can use this. So subjective reality and objective reality. And if you check my other videos, this mindset concept, sometimes I create a whole video much longer than I'm talking about this. This is just about listing a lot of mindsets, so you can see a lot of examples, and if you think that, oh, I never heard about this, oh, this is interesting, I want to learn, then search the internet and search my previous videos or future videos, because I have a lot of things, like for example subjective reality, objective reality. So my definition of objective reality, everything that is outside of my mind, that even if I die, the things exist in the world. And subjective reality is all of my experiences, because everything I experience is created by my brain. This is a kind of belief, because of course there is another mindset that spiritual people or religious people, that some universe or God is communicating to your mind, and your brain is just an antenna, a receiver, and then you get ideas, knowledge, impulses in the form of energy, and then your brain is just converting. Okay, I don't believe this. My mindset is about that in the whole body, and especially the brain, we create a subjective reality, because through the sense organs we get just electric impulses to the different type of the brain regions, and when the brain creates this reality, this subjective reality based on external stimulation from the present moment and from our past experiences, past knowledge, and we combine them together, and we have the perception, and all the perception in life, this is our subjective reality. So this is another mindset that separate these two things, that does it really exist, or at least, so you can think about the subjective reality is a kind of attempt to represent in our mind the external reality, but of course it's always just a representation and it's not correct. For example, colors or shades, shadows, this kind of, so all the visual, auditory and everything, it has a representation is in our mind, but it's not necessarily corresponds to the real world. And if you go to a science museum or watch videos about tricks that tricks the mind, it is because the mind creates this, and under certain condition creates this kind of perception, and in other conditions it creates a different perceptions. So this kind of visual tricks is a good metaphor. They are good metaphors and analogies to understand the difference between these two, subjective and objective reality.